Hey, true crime friends. Thanks for tuning in to Coffee, Cigarettes, and Murder, a true crime podcast. Today, we're going to tell you the story of Dr. Yves Goddard. It was August 30th, 1999, when Dr. Yves saw his patients in his practice like normal. The 43-year-old left work and took his children, Camille 6 and Marius 4, down to the local fishing hole. Like any other late August vacation, Goddard packed up his children and their things into their Volkswagen camper, stopping to ask a neighbor to take care of their cats, and they set off for the port town of St. Malo.
St. Malo, France is where they were at?
This does take place in France.
Gotcha.
St. Malo has a beautiful history for being a stronghold for privateers, pirates approved by the king, and is now a beautifully historic port town in Brittany. With a beautiful cathedral in the center and surrounded by seawall, when you walk the cobbled streets of St. Malo, it feels like a trip back in time, and it is a beautiful place for a family vacation. Dr. Goddard had made arrangements for rental of a yacht named the Nick 2 weeks prior to the family vacation. Pulling his Volkswagen camper into the port town, Dr. Goddard met the yacht owner about the rental, loaded his family and their things onto the 40-foot yacht, and set off upon the ocean, letting them know he would return the Nick on September 5th.
I don't think I'd feel comfortable renting a yacht, 40-foot yacht. When I think yacht, I think like a crew has to run a yacht. Like not just like one dude.
I don't really know a lot about boats.
Me either.
But I thought like yachts were, 40 foot is pretty long. I work for a customs brokerage company, and containers, like ocean containers, are 40 foot long. I guess it's really not that big, now that I'm thinking about it.
It's not. It must be pretty fancy to call it a yacht and only being 40 feet, but I feel like a lot could go wrong on a yacht.
Really?
Like there's a lot of parts and big engines and other systems going on, and that people would need to be familiarized with. Like you'd have to know a lot about boating to rent a yacht, I think.
I literally know nothing about boating, which is strange because I love the water, right? But I always stick to like kayaking or paddle boating.
Yeah, renting a kayak sounds way easier than the undertaking of a yacht.
French customs pulled the boat over on September 2nd, and although one officer noted that he felt that Mr. Goddard was acting a bit strange, he called and checked his story with the owner of the Nick, and all checked out. One child appeared to be sleeping on deck, and Mr. Goddard reported that the other child and his wife were asleep below deck. And I do note here, appeared to be sleeping, because as it turns out, we don't really know in the future if the child was sleeping.
The plot thickens.
The Nick was seen multiple times over the course of the next few days. No one reported anything strange, and no one thought anything was amiss. That is until September 5th. The crew of the Escara, maybe, a French fishing boat, sees a dinghy floating about. This isn't unusual, as many people, experienced or not, come to these waters. They decided to take a look and find that it's abandoned. Rummaging through whatever items are aboard the dinghy, they come upon a coat with a checkbook in the pocket. The name on the checkbook, Dr. Yves Goddard. This was the dinghy that belonged to the 40-foot yacht the doctor had rented, the Nick. When there was no sign of the family by September 2nd, police searched their Volkswagen camper. They found cleaning supplies that the doctor had bought at the port, but they also found large traces of blood and morphine. This prompted a search of the Goddard residence. Police devastatingly found traces of blood in the living room, bathroom, and master bedroom. It is at this time that police realized that when Dr. Goddard asked their neighbor to watch their cats, she did not see Marie France, Goddard's wife. In fact, no one had seen Marie in 9 days. No one had seen Dr. Goddard and the children in 6 days, and the yacht had been missing for 2. Yves had a passion for sailing since he was young. He had his own medical practice, and he was constantly upgrading his home just out of town, and his patients would describe him as modest, private, subdued, and gentle.
So are you insinuating that the wife wasn't with them?
The neighbor cannot recall seeing the wife with them.
But it's a camper, right? I mean, she could have been like in the back of the camper. She doesn't necessarily have to be sitting like shotgun.
She absolutely could have been in the back of the camper. But there was a darker side to the Goddard family. Dr. Goddard was not a traditional doctor, although he had many patients who loved his different approach, blending Eastern and Western healing. He used acupuncture and traditional Chinese medicine. He was often ridiculed in the medical community. Yves had also gotten himself in some financial trouble. He owed the government $300,000 in back taxes and fines. Marie France seemed to be feeling the tension as well. She kept a diary, and when the investigators reviewed it, they found that Marie was not happy with the lack of intimacy in her marriage, and she had even tried to seduce her therapist. Meanwhile, Yves had told a close friend he would not be able to take his family on vacation that year.
Wouldn't be able to vacation with them because of the financial troubles they were having?
I get the impression that that's why. 11 days after the dinghy was discovered, a life jacket was discovered in the English Channel. On September 23rd, an inflatable life raft was found on a beach near Dorset in the south of England. When you first hear this, it may seem normal. A boat containing 3 to 4 people has vanished. Of course things should be showing up. But expert analysis does not agree. Experts say that this doesn't make sense because the ocean currents alone would not be able to transport the life jacket and the raft to that location. Another strange fact is that the inflatable life raft had the emergency pull engaged. This means the life raft should have only stayed inflated for 72 hours after engagement.
So if I'm on a boat and have to use an emergency life raft, I only got 72 hours?
I didn't know that either. I found that to be really strange.
That seems like a terrible design.
It really does, because I think a lot of people are lost at sea a lot longer than
Well,
72 hours.
Yeah, you could just drift in circles for days and days and never go anywhere.
But this in particular was on the ocean a lot longer than 72 hours if it had been inflated when they actually went missing.
And there was a dinghy and the raft.
That is correct.
So now they had 2 escape routes.
But yet they were never found. In January of 2000, a duffel bag was pulled out of the water by fishermen. This was near where the family had last been seen and contained clothes, driver's license, documents, binoculars, a hammer, and what is believed to be the contents of Miss Goddard's purse. I did wonder how they know it's the contents of her purse without the actual purse. Like, it's just the contents of her purse.
To me, that almost sounds pirate-esque, I guess, that you go through someone's belongings, you steal all their stuff, and then you just dump what you don't need.
And maybe they found an empty purse, right? And then they found the contents in the duffel bag, and so they made the connection that it's the contents of the purse.
You have to say though that the hammer is an odd item.
There was a few odd items in that bag. In June 2000, a dredger found skull fragments on the ocean floor. Unfortunately, these were a few pieces of the remains of Camille Goddard. This was also near the spot where the family had last been seen. The French Navy tried to find the sunken ship in this area at this time, but from my understanding, the yacht has not been recovered to this day.
So that seems odd that they can find skull fragments from the daughter, which can't be more than a couple inches big, but they can't find a 40-foot boat. To me, that also kind of says like maybe pirate-esque type things happening, because maybe it's like kind of like stolen cars where you can steal a yacht, and there's like some sort of yacht shop out there where they like cut it up and sell the parts. It seems odd that you can find that, but you can't find the other thing.
Yeah, I never thought about that, like a yacht chop shop, but I was thrown off by that too. I mean, those skull fragments should have been extremely tiny. I mean, she was only, what was it? I believe it was 6 years old. Definitely strange. Hikers near Saint Jacques de la Mer started finding business cards, credit cards, and bank cards belonging to Dr. Goddard. Now, I don't know how far this beach is from where they went missing, but it's far enough to make people hypothesize that Goddard made a stop off there just to dump his wallet. I'm going to list the cards in order of how they were found. A business card was found on February 11th, 2001. A bank card on February 22nd. On May 24th, a credit card was found, and at this time, a sweep of the beach is ordered. No traces of the family were found. Then, on June 3rd, a credit card is found by a diver just off the beach. The beach is searched again. They brought in machinery to sift the sand, and there was nothing. No trace of the Goddard family. And still, one more card would appear. On July 31st, a fifth credit card was found.
So, cards are just popping up randomly up to 8 months after the initial disappearance.
Correct.
And so people are believing that he was like planting this stuff to like throw people off, or
somebody's planting it.
But see, again, it just makes me think like if these were stolen items that maybe they outran their usefulness, these cards aren't working anymore, so someone just like tossed it.
Could be.
And also, I gotta say, I don't have a lot of faith in the French police at this point. Like, I just don't think this is going well, this investigation.
I believe this was one of the most highly publicized French missing persons cases, actually.
Wow.
Experts took a look at these cards and found that these cards could not have been in the water since September of 1999. They feel that they were thrown one by one in the water starting at the beginning of the year 2001. Some believe this was the work of an accomplice to make the Goddard family deaths look accidental. What do you think, Jeff? I don't think that makes it look any more accidental.
Yeah, I'm not buying that. I don't think there's some sort of mastermind at play here, like planning some sort of ruse for the French police to, chase their tail around the beach all day.
There was a briefcase suspected to be Goddard's found in August of 2003 in St. Brieux Bay, but it is believed to be a hoax. On September 13th, 2006, a femur and tibia bone belonging to Goddard were found on the ocean floor in an area known as Herd's Deep.
So there's two things that could possibly be happening now. So he's either dead, or he's hopping around the beach, throwing cards into the ocean.
Without his femur and tibia bone?
One-legged. He could have a prosthetic at this point, but who knows? He was a doctor.
In December 2008, an insurance card, plastic, in perfect condition was found on the beach of Chapelle. There have also been sightings of the Goddard family. In October of 1999, a hotel owner on the Isle of Man stated that Goddard and his children stayed at his hotel for multiple nights. Sightings of them were reported around the world, from Scotland to South Africa, all the way to Miami. The theories range in this case from Goddard killing his wife and children, to Goddard murdering his wife and starting over with his children, to another person annihilating the entire family. And some theories even include the mob. The family bank account was never used after they went missing, and the case was officially closed in 2012 with no charges filed. When I was researching this story, I will admit that for a very long time I was really hopeful that he had started a life anew abroad with his children, at least, if not with his wife as well. It did start to look pretty bleak, though, when they did start finding bones. But where's the boat?
The boat is gone. Hey, yeah, I don't think there's any like real foul play as far as like inside the family with this. There's a lot going on here, and there's a lot of really weird things, but I don't know if French pirates are a thing even. But that's what I
But what
keep
do you
seeing
mean?
in my head.
What do you mean foul play inside the family? Because they found blood in the bedroom of the house, in the living room of the house, the bathroom of the house, and in the camper. And morphine.
But you said trace amounts. Like, that could be...
Large trace in the house.
What's a
though.
large trace? Like, you could
I
probably
think
find
it's-
large trace amounts of blood in my house. Doesn't mean like I killed anyone
I
here.
don't think so. I think a large trace is kind of an insinuation that somebody...
So when I hear that, I don't think visible blood. I think like black light.
I think
Blood.
black light blood. I think if we went into your living room and did black light blood, I don't think there would be black light blood in here.
But I'm not a doctor either.
Because we're currently in Jeff's living room. Well, I did think of that though too, right? Actually, when I was researching this, that did pop into my head. What if he wanted to fake their deaths? He had access to blood, right? He was a doctor. What if he wanted to make it look like they all died? So he just got blood and was like, oh, well, they'll find this and they'll assume that we're dead.
So to escape his debt,
To escape his debt.
which then they would have to get new IDs and new paperwork, everything. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I assume that that would all be all set for them as they moved abroad. I mean, I don't know. This isn't a movie, so, I mean, that's how it happens in the movies.
And then in the ultimate sacrifice, he cuts his own leg off and throws it in Herd's Deep.
I wonder, though, how can they know? I mean, I guess they do know, but a bone that's been in the ocean for God knows how long,
Yep, that's his.
how can they know? They must know.
No idea.
So baffling. And all these things that keep coming up, I mean, do you think people just found the boat and didn't tell authorities and found his wallet and just threw his cards about when they, took the money out, or maybe there wasn't any money in there, and people were able to find this stuff and just distribute it, but authorities were never able to find this boat?
Yeah, I wonder about the validity of these cards as well, especially when you talk about how it was so highly publicized, and like a lot of this could just be like hoax type stuff too.
And the briefcase was a hoax, right? But I mean, authorities seem to feel that the cards were real. The life raft, there was like a serial number on it or something. I think there was something that let them know that was from the Nick, the 40-foot yacht, the Nick.
Right, yeah, I think it would have like the numbers of the boat on it. That would make sense to me.
Right. And then there was the blood in the camper. So it's like, did he maybe read the wife's diary, see that she was trying to seduce her own therapist? Maybe he went insane and killed her, put her in the camper, and took her on this yacht voyage, but maybe he didn't kill the kids. I can only hope he didn't kill the kids. I hate stories where kids die.
So killed the wife, sunk the boat, scattered cards all over the place, and is now living in Portugal.
But I mean, I guess they did find, bone fragments from one of the children. So it seems like, best case scenario is not happening here.
I think this is why you need a crew running a yacht. You can't just be a solo guy running a yacht. It's not going to work out.
Maybe he just had that lifelong love of sailing and thought this is how it ends.
You never know. Anything could have happened here.
How
Very
bleak.
strange.
And that, true crime friends, concludes our podcast for today. You can find us on Twitter at coffeemurder_. You can find us on Instagram at Coffee, Cigarettes, and Murder.
If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or contributions, you can email us at coffeecigarettesandmurder@gmail.com.
Stay safe, my friends. Evil people are everywhere.
Tell somebody you love them.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Coffee, Cigarettes, and Murder.